Okay, welcome back. Today's lesson intent is understanding the probability scale. Before we do this though, we really need to understand what is probability. So basically, probability is the likelihood, okay, so whether it's likely or has a chance, or a chance of an event or something to happen. Okay, so of something to happen. So that could be something like, what are the chances it's going to rain tomorrow? Or if I have a dive, what's the chances of pulling up a 5? We're going to go into more details shortly. When we're talking in terms of probability, as I said before, it's how likely something is to occur. So it can range from anywhere from impossible right along to certain. Now, when we're expressing our probabilities, we either do it in fraction form or we do it in decimal. So if we look further down on our diagram, you can see here we have our fraction line. So for unlikelihood, we're looking at about 1 over 4, which equals in decimal point is 0.25, or in a percentage form, we can convert our decimals to percentage, is 25%. And depending on what we've calculated for our probability, would tell us how likely it is. So how unlikely, equally likely, likely, certain, or completely impossible. So let's use the example of our coin. We know that a coin has two sides, heads and tails. Okay, heads and tails. Because when we flip the coin, we'll either get a heads or a tails, we've got a 1 in 2 possibilities that it could be a head or a tail. So therefore, we say that flipping a coin has equally likely outcomes of either a head or a tail. So, because it's just one option over 2. So, in order to calculate our probability, we do have an equation that we always use. So here we go, probability equals the number of ways it can happen over the total number of outcomes. So another way we can actually say this, let's use our coin for example. So our probability, we could go P equals, now the number of ways it can happen. It could either be, so if we were looking for a head, so our probability of looking for a head, okay, is 1 over 2, because we can only get one head, because there's only one head on the coin, and it can either be one side or the other side, so that's why it's 2. Okay, so let's do another example. Let's say we have a die, so one die, and we know that there's 6 sides, which equate to 1 to 6 numbers. Now let's say we have the probability of obtaining a 3. So this is the number up here. There's only one 3 on the die, so it's 1 over, and we have 6 possibilities, okay, because there's 6 sides. So this is 3, sorry, this is 1, because there is only one 3. There is only one 3 on the die. Okay, so if we were to roll the die and we get our 3, we actually can work out that our probability would be 0.166 recurring. Or we could have actually rounded off, we could actually go say 6.6% or round up to 17%. Okay? So in this case, if we look at our probability diagram down the bottom, we'd be sitting about here. So it's fairly unlikely that if we only had one chance of throwing the die and pulling up a 3, this is the probability that we would get it. Doesn't mean that we would get it or not get it, it's just where guesstimating on what will most likely happen. Okay, so let's try something slightly different. Let's move this up, out of the way. Now let's say we want to calculate the probability of getting even numbers on our die. So, just to recap, our die has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'd be looking at either a 2, 4 or a 6. So how we write this is, because there are 3 possibilities, so 2, 4 and 6, to get an even number, we say 3 over a total of 6. Okay, so in this case, 3 over 6, if we were to simplify it, actually equals 1 over 2, because 3 goes into 6 twice. So in this case, we have an equal opportunity or equal probability that we will get an even number on our first throw. Okay? Okay, so now time for some homework. For homework, I would like you to tell me what is the probability of obtaining from our die the number 5. Also, the probability of an odd number. Can I tell you, both of them will be, just to get you started, something over 6. Further down, you will see our spinner. And there is 1 to 4 numbers and also coloured. I would like you to tell me, what is the probability that you will obtain a 4? Okay, so let me just draw a line in here so you know. So for the spinner, probability of a 4, and also the probability that you will obtain the colour blue. So if you were to spin the spinner, if you will land on blue, what is the probability? Bring those answers to the next class and I'll see you soon.
Miss Budgley's Bud Nuts!